I'm excited about the future of this show.
Don't bother going to church because your short game needs some work. So raise your glass, even though he's not the best. But at least he made the top 5.
Yes.
So what's the 4 words again?
Continuing Care Retirement Community.
Okay, we're here to talk about continuing care retirement communities
Right.
and the villages.
Yes.
Kind of compare them a little bit. We got to talk about, if you enjoy our channel, please subscribe. We got 66 subscribers, Lonnie. I'm pretty happy about that.
All right.
Yeah. If you feel this information is helpful, please like us. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, Ben commented on our last one about productions. He said he liked it. His exact words were, "Another great video. Lonnie is a natural." Which, well, let's talk about that for a second. Lonnie walks into my house 10 minutes before we air this. He has no paperwork in front of him, does zero research. He drinks a couple toddies before he comes in here. Tito's and Fresca, that's his drink of choice. But, I do all the editing. I get the people here to my house, set up the spread, but Lonnie's a natural. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Ben. Yeah. Love that. Love Ben. But anyway, Ben, thanks for commenting and stay with us in our videos. You have been in the radio before. Well, not you've been doing a radio show.
I've spent a fair amount of time on a local radio station in Iowa City, and
Campaigning for funds?
I just did it when I was serving as sheriff. And
Anyway, Ben, Lonnie appreciates it.
and I apologize for my goodness.
The natural. The natural. Call your boy Wonder. So, Myra, tell us where you work.
Okay, I worked for a CCRC, Continuing Care Retirement Community, in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. How long did you work there?
30 years.
Wow. Give us a little description of what this place offered people.
Let me give you a visual of what it looked like. It was located on about 30 acres. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We had cluster homes, cottages, and apartments. And then we also had a 3-story building directly across the street that housed the skilled nursing facility, our memory care, assisted living. Our people came to Brandermill because they felt like they had a guarantee as far as moving through the levels of care as they aged. We were rental, which was totally unlike a lot of them that are fee-based. With the rental, they would just move through the continuum of care and pay as they go.
So what was your clientele then? Was it just people in the area that wanted to stay in the area, or did people move there because of that service?
I would say probably 50% of the people that we had living in the community were people that were relatives of loved ones living in the wider community of Chesterfield County.
Yeah.
In the independent.
But they could stay there. That's kind of what the program was, to start there and finish there.
And it's like a small town, very small. Everyone knew everyone. Believe it or not, the first time I heard about the villages happened to be from one of my residents who came down here. His son was living here. And he, Mr. Morton, came back and he said, "Myra, you've got to see that place." And he brought back the big calendar of events, and this is what they've got going on. These are the things that we could do. And I was looking through it going, oh, let's talk to the activities department. Let's talk to all these different groups that we have and say, we need to get this on board. We need to get this on board. All of these different things. But we could never recreate what they have here because it's just a whole different model, a totally different model.
But you did implement some of the stuff.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Pretty cool. But your community didn't think as the villages as a competitor. You didn't take people from the villages, and the villages didn't take people from you, because they pretty much want to stay in the area.
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't call the villages no. I would say for me, yes, as being a younger person, one of the main reasons, and I hesitate to say this because I loved Brandermill. Like it was my little baby, I worked there for so long and so many people, but it was the last place I wanted to retire. Yeah, it was one of those situations where if you've lived it for 30 years, you don't want to see it. And that's what made me fearful coming down here. I was afraid of, oh my, you've worked it, now you're going to be living it. And you saw what retirement looked like up there. And it was a lot of frail people. a lot of not so much independent. And you come down here and it's totally different. Totally different.
So what got you down here?
What got me down here was Gene, my husband. He's very active. He likes to play ball. He likes to play golf. He's very active in everything he does. So it was like, I want to get down there. I want to do these things.
So we're active here, and then is there a place for us to go? Have you noticed a place for us to go here?
That's the one thing that I see as the big difference in the communities in Richmond and some of the other states. The state of Florida is a lot more laxed when it comes to assisted and skilled nursing and how they will allow people to be cared for, staffing levels, different things like that.
You mean Georgia has a state law that requires staffing levels per resident and Florida doesn't?
You've got the federal government that has certain staffing levels.
Okay.
You've got the health department. You've got all these different varying people that come in and regulate a facility,
Okay.
in various ways. And, assisted living, as far as how they will admit somebody into assisted living, based on activities of daily living. I have a tendency to talk in acronyms, as my husband says, because the healthcare field, there's a ton of acronyms.
Law enforcement did that too, so we get
Okay,
it.
so you get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
10-4.
10-4.
That's not an acronym, but
Yes.
not a bad try on his behalf.
Dang it.
Someone's living in the villages down here and they have aging parents that are in another facility, say
Which we did.
in Georgia. Should they be afraid of moving them to Florida because Florida's laws are different than, like, say, Georgia? Your experience. I mean,
It's not Georgia, it's the state of Virginia. Georgia's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
laxed as well.
Okay.
But I will tell you that in the state of Virginia, it was pretty tight on how you would admit people on your occupancy at the time. You had to have certain staffing levels, and people knew when you did business that your bottom line was going to take a big hit. The biggest cost for providing health care is labor. There's very little labor involved with some of these assisted facilities that are admitting people. And I would have to say that I saw it firsthand with my in-laws. We moved them here with us. We ran Brandermill in a sense that the healthcare center was never a profit place for profit. We ran it as a break even. So it was always very important for me that we staffed accordingly to be able to care for our residents in the way they should be cared for. We also didn't admit people that should be admitted to a skilled nursing versus an assisted living.
so if I'm gonna move my parents down here somewhere, what are some pitfalls that you would tell me if I'm looking at different facilities? What are some, like, 2 or 3 significant pitfalls that you say, oh, that's a red flag, don't go there? Can you think of something like that?
I would get on the Medicare Gov site
Okay.
and look at their survey results,
Okay.
because that'll tell you what they've been cited for.
And who has been so survey results means the state of Florida or the feds or
Feds, the state of Florida, they come in. If you've had a serious violation, they would come in more often. They have people go in your kitchens. They have people go in with your housekeepers. They have people go with your nurses. They have people go with everything. They look at your medical records. They look at everything.
So do they rate them? Does, like, you got a
They'll
95,
give
you got an
There's a
ABC,
5-star. There's 5-star rating.
5-star. So
okay?
that's what you want to look for.
That's what you want to see, how many stars they've got. Then
Okay.
you look behind it. It'll tell you why they got these.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest things you want to look at. That's only for nursing homes. And you can go and compare every one of the facilities here in this area. And then assisted is usually run by your Department of Social Services. It's a little harder to find out about the assisted livings, other than word of mouth and things like that when you go from place to place, because they're not as regulated as the skilled nursing facilities are. And independent, not regulated. You want to look at staffing levels.
Mhm.
That's one of the first things you want to ask them when you walk into a facility is, what is your staffing level?
And what's a good staffing level?
Oh, well, in a nursing facility,
3
hours per patient day.
Okay.
Well, this is what they do is they look at all of you. You've got all of your nurses. You've got your CNAs, your certified nursing assistants. You've got your dietary staff. You've got all of these people, okay? We had to report hours worked by all of these people. Then they would do a breakdown calculation to tell you how many hours per patient day was being fed into your residence.
Okay. And so 3 you would say is a good
3 is a good
barometer.
number because you're really
3 or
spending-
higher.
3 or higher. That doesn't mean they're going to sit there for 3 hours,
Right.
but it does mean that you've got people on the floor that can respond.
Okay.
Have you thought about where you're going to go?
I haven't, and I went through that with my parents,
Mm-hmm.
and so no, I really haven't given much thought about that. I sort of thought I'd die first. So
And everybody in my family died of Alzheimer's.
And you see how hard that is for you, and to go through that with your parents.
Yeah.
Go through it for 30 years with a bunch of parents,
And then you
because
get-
that's what they were to me.
yeah,
Right.
Okay.
yeah. You don't. I mean, I guess I didn't think about that perspective.
You got to know them.
Yeah,
You were
you-
friends with them.
Very much so, and their families, and they would trust me and the staff to do the right thing by them. And
Yeah. I always thought hospice nurses were like angels.
They are.
Angels.
Absolutely.
I don't know how they do it and how positive they are. And on your last breath, they're still positive. And I said, wow, those people are special.
I've talked to a couple of hospice nurses, had the opportunity because of my family, and it's hard to, it's their thought process. They look at it as it's an honor to
Yes.
serve or to help that person move to the next phase.
right.
And hard for me to get my hands around
Right.
that, because that is to have a job where you're helping people die continuously is I would think extremely
It's emotional.
hard on you.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Tons of parents.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, you have that personality for it. I mean, you can you appear to be able to talk to anyone and
Yes.
relate to anyone, and you sort of ooze kindness, which I think in that job is important.
It's key.
And so thank you for what you
Thanks.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here. You gave us a
Thank you.
ton of information.
Yeah.
And it's good to know.
Right.
Some things that we didn't think about. So thanks for showing up.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks to him, we've got the best league to play in. It's not a boast, just a toast to know